Welcome back, ladies and gents. Round 3 of our 5th season of the Performance League. As you can see, we're at the Chinese Grand Prix. I had the stream on, so my bad about that, turn the volume down. We're on board with Pagani. Unfortunately, he is out on track with us tonight in the Force India, so I expect he should have some good pace tonight, as he usually does. So it's a very interesting track. We've got this about a mile long back straight for China. Obviously, it's going to be a key overtaking point for the day. I believe turns 12 and 13 is that long right hand drive before lead onto the straight. It's a critical corner. You need to get that. You need to get the exit perfectly right if you want to get a fantastic qualifying lap, and if you want to have a great opportunity of overtaking the car in front of you down to the hairpin of 14, I believe it is, before 15, which Pagani's just rounded. So there's a couple corners in there that can cost you an extreme amount of time, as Scuba has been disqualified from the session. That's not his fault. He was waiting there to let Pagani through, not to block his lap, and then unfortunately for him, the game's just it didn't approve. So it's off to a bad start for Scuba already, unfortunately. But we've got Pagani out on his lap already. A good turnout tonight. We've got 17 drivers out on the grid, so that's all fantastic. Just missing 3. And now, if you're wondering why you're stuck with me tonight, is some reason Zach's gone out. Zach's gone for a nice little extended weekend, so that means you're cursed with me. I've got great carbs showing a bit of support, so I think life should be fairly okay. Well, a fairly decent lap for Pagani so far. This will just be a banker lap. We'll have about an extra 14 minutes after he crosses the line. So he gets a good run out of the turns 13. So it's looking good for an initial time. Of course, it will more than likely put him on provisional pole so far, as he will be the first driver to set a lap. But yeah, it's got Guy in the chat telling me to curse them all, but there's only one man I'm after with the curse, and that's Lee. Been a while since I've been on comms, been a while since I have been jinxing Lee into a barrier. You can see he's invalidated his lap time just due to a sheer lack of skill, unfortunately. I don't think Lee will be happy that I'm on comms tonight. If something goes wrong, I think the blame will be straight away cast towards myself, so I might need to be careful, because Lee might kill me. Yes, let's go. Lee is Iron Thumb. I don't know if he drives with his analog stick or his D-pad. So Lee has got the buffest thumbs out of everybody here. We'll see what time he can set. That's an out lap. He's just started his proper lap. So we're trying to carry as much speed as he can through turn 1 with that Red Bull. But it goes a little wide, but he does manage to hook up the apex very nicely. Sets him up for a good turn 2. It's a nice clean exit, not squirming on throttle. That's going to cost him a lot of time, especially with turns 2. That can be a crucial corner if you do stuff up your exit. Obviously, you've got, I'd say, about a 300 to 500 meter straight before the next hairpin that you have to encounter. So there are a few corners that if you do get squirmy, you are going to lose a lot of time. I just want to cast my eye over to, as a corner that just went through, it's that second fast corner. It's the right-hander, the fast right-hander in the second sector. Now, we saw a couple of seasons ago in performance, of course, with just the drastic differences in downforce between cars. Say if you're coming up behind a Haas or potentially a Williams, if you've had a bad start in a high field car, maybe a Mercedes, a Red Bull. I'm not going to say a Ferrari because it's a dog. Unfortunately for Ferrari fans, yeah, it's not the best car this season, but you will be able to you'll be able to have a good shot at running it around the outside. Now it is risky, and I've done it myself, and obviously I won't lie, and there caused the crash or two. If you're going for style points, it's a decent opportunity. You know, the opportunity is there, but you've got to be willing to go to drastic measures to get that overtake done. But unfortunately, there's no Cuban Pete on track tonight, and Yeah, so unfortunately we're not going to have any Cuban Pete's. I think that's down to Aaron on a Wednesday. If you want a Cuban Pete, harass him then. There's not much I can do for you, unfortunately. But we've got T. Smith and the McLaren. A 31.6 with Pagani. Only not even half a tenth behind. He's a 31.666. So Pagani's inciting the demon into this qualifying session. He's got the unlucky number. We've got Panda in P3 with Dahas. He's doing a fantastic job so far. But there are obviously about another 5 drivers who are to set a lap time. So Aaron, a 32.077. He is currently P4. A decent lap time from him. He'll be looking to try and get that lap time a little higher for obviously his final lap of the session, but he's doing good so far. He's in the Williams with City Posh Blue. Now the both of them, they were running the Alfa Romeo at Baku last weekend, and they got a 1-2 in qualifying, and he got a 1-2 in the race. I believe he did. So it'll be encouraging for them tonight. Obviously they are in a bit of a slower car, but they do have the ability to keep it somewhere around the midfield to the front of the grid. As we have a couple of drivers entering and a couple of drivers exiting the pits. On board with Zombie. Now I don't know if he is on a lap. No, he's not. He's not got his overtake on. Unfortunately, he hasn't got his ERS on. So that would tell me he's either on an in lap or he's stuffed up the lap somewhere and he's gonna go again at the end. So we'll see. We'll go straight on into the pit lane. That's Zombie into the pits. I've got a couple of drivers on their out lap. We've got Captain Shubs and TTG. We've got Lee, Max and Kyron, I think that is, in the pits. We've got KC and the Ferrari is going to be starting his first qualifying lap. So let's see. Obviously it is one of the faster cars. We haven't had the performance update yet, so the Ferrari is going to be up around the top end of the field in terms of pace. So we'll have a lot of power and a lot of downforce as he gets practically sideways through turn 2. So that's what I was saying, if you get a bit of a wiggle on, it's going to cost you a fair bit of time down the next 500 metres or so, maybe a little less. So you have to be really careful with the application of your throttle around here. You can get a little tail happy, which isn't the best thing to do. But the tyres matching the car. He's running a set of soft tyres, so he'll be going all out. He's not trying anything different with strategy, it doesn't seem. So it seems a fairly clean lap so far, apart from his little kick of oversteer at turn 2. A decent exit out at turn 13. Looking to try and maximise the performance of that Ferrari engine down the back straight. He's reaching 199, 200, 205. So he's certainly squeezing every bit of performance out of that engine. Tops out at 208 before he hits the brakes at the 100 metre board. He gets a nice apex for the hairpin of 14. Gets a good exit as well. Uses half the curb on the entry. And half the curb on the exit. So the fairly decent lap from KC, that's put him 11th. Unfortunately, it's not the best of times. It's the 33.2. His teammate just outdoing him by 0.2. That's not his teammate, that's not Romeo. The red and the dark red, slightly similar. Now a couple of drivers just out on their out laps. Let's have a look, see who's getting up to something. We've got Captain Shubs approaching 12 and 13. We've got Cowboy, he's coming up to the hairpin. So 208 from that other Ferrari engine as well, so you can just see the amount of performance that Ferrari power unit is giving the drivers. A little unrealistic considering the real life performance, but Cowboy comes into the pits, not happy with that lap, just trying to get back to the pits as soon as possible. Now a good few drivers who are currently out on the lap so far. We've got Pagani, who's coming up to 12 and 13 as well. Running a nice pink helmet, matching the car. We all know Pagani loves a good little bit of pink, it's his favourite colour. 97 on the side of the car, it's definitely not his pace rating. We got Wesker rounds in the hairpin coming up to the final corner. He's going in through the pit lane. T. Smith out on a lap, out on an in lap. Same thing with Panda. Aaron's attacking it. Final corner, gets a decent exit. See what he can do. He crosses the line and sets. He doesn't go faster. It's not the best of laps from Aaron there. So he'll be on an in lap now. He doesn't want to waste an extra couple minutes driving around on a set of tyres that are a bit extra worn out when he can bolt on a new set of supers, a new set of softs, and give it a thrash around in the final couple minutes. Not an awful lot going on. Seems to be quieting down a bit. City Posh coming up to a little bit of traffic. I believe that's Aaron. Aaron could potentially be trying to give City Posh a tow down the back street, so I don't fully know about that. Looks a little close to me. I hope it's not affecting them in terms of Aaron's giving City Posh that little bit of dirty air. City Posh getting the rear end a little happy. Cuts the inside of 11 just that little bit. It's all looking good for City so far. It's quite close to Aaron. He'll be looking to maximise the extra performance that he can get on the straight just due to that slipstream he'll be getting off Aaron. So we'll see. Obviously the Williams is using a Mercedes power unit. He's got the slipstream as well, so we'll see. He's still 3 miles an hour down on the Ferrari. Obviously that's down to just a massive drag that the Williams has to deal with, so he's going to struggle on the straights, so they need to try and do the best in the corners. But saying that, the Williams isn't the best in the corners, so these lads are going to seriously have to try and outdrive the car that they've got tonight. It's a tall order, but they can do it. Obviously they're showing that they're P5 and 6th currently, so good driving from the both of them. City's on an in lap. Aaron's already in the pit lane. We have a Renault. Is that a Renault coming in and a Renault coming out? Yeah, it's coming in. It's not an awful lot so far, apart from Max, who is currently on a time lap, I believe. He's got his ERS turned on, and we have KC. He's on an out lap, and that is Max backing out of it. Is anyone behind him? Not quite. So he's just on an in lap then, or isn't happy with his lap. It's one of the two. They'll be looking to box as soon as he can. Get on a new set of tyres and go out for his final attempt of a quali lap. Casey just on his out lap. Getting to grips with the car, the circuit, the tyres. They'll be getting ready for his qualifying lap in just about half a minute. Now if you do have any questions or you've got predictions for the race, do feel free to put them in the chat. Any questions with the hashtag AskComms, if I'm smart enough to answer it, I'll answer it. I can't promise much. We've also got Lee out on an out lap as well. He's currently P14 with 33.2. Fastest lap time so far is from Wesker. He is in the Alfa Romeo, I believe. He's set at 30.7, so it's a good time from him so far. He's currently at the top of the timing sheets. Pagani as well, 7 tenths off, so 6 tenths off. He's still in the pit lane. I expect he'll be coming out soon. Let's have a look. Well, KC is on his lap. He's just rounding through turn 2. But he gets turn 2 clean on exit, so there'll be time gained for him there. From the base nice and late for the hairpin, getting that car slowed down and turns in to plant the power for these two incredibly fast left-hand right-handers. Obviously if you're looking at it, for some it may seem a little boring those two corners, but when you're driving the car it's a bit of a thrill. You're just chucking it in at such high speed, just hoping that the car's going to stick sometimes, because on this game, for some reason, corners like, we'll go to another chat for example, corners like turn 1 at Silverstone and Cops, for some reason from last year's game, you could chuck it in perfectly fine, the rear and stay planted, but for some reason on this game, you turn it in and the rear end decides it wants to do more turning than the front, so that's a little thing the guy's going to have to deal with tonight. I'm not quite sure why that is, but Obviously, I don't know. I don't think that's affecting them too much around here because they don't seem to be lifting off. They seem to just be turning the car in like it's normal. So they live to see another day. Is that Lee Cole going slowly? No, it is not. That's his teammate Max. Okay, Max is on an out lap. Lee is on a lap. But we'll see what's going on with KC so far. Just inspecting that yellow flag, but it's all looking good for him so far. He's set a 32 flat. He's gone up to P7. He's gained about 6 to 7 positions. So a good showing from him so far. He's done good there. We got Lee Cole. We're to the most critical corner of the lap. Cuts a bit tight on entry, but it doesn't affect him through the long phase of the corner. So he's looking good so far. Lee Cole now out onto the back straight. That Captain Chubb's not far behind. Unfortunately, Chubbs won't be able to gain from the slipstream of Lee, so just a bit too far back. But Lee not even reaching 200 miles an hour, so he's losing a lot of performance on the straight. That's going to come to at least a couple tenths. Because you can see that Ferrari, it's hitting 208 just on merit, on its own, no slipstream or anything. Lee's 15 miles an hour down on the straight before they get to the braking point, so that's going to cost him a hell of a lot of time down the straight. Now I don't think that's down to exit speed, because you see he topped out at 193 it looks, because he weren't really gaining anymore. So it just shows the huge difference in terms of engine power, but it could also be down to setup choices. Lee could possibly be running a bit of higher downforce, which will be costing him critical lap time on the straight, but he'll be gaining it in the corners a bit. But I don't know if Lee's still on an in lap or a second flying lap. He's taken to using the grass through the fast left and right hander for sector 2. Now we'll see if it gives us an update on his time. I don't know if it shows us that on the telemetry. He's 3 tenths up so far through sector 2, and that's all on his lap time in general. He's got a nicer run through 12 and 13, so he'll be looking more encouraging for the straight. He'll be gaining more time as he comes out onto that mile-long back straight. So we'll see what Lee Cole's got in store. Right, so this is a lot more encouraging. 200 mile an hour now. 203, 204. Tops out at 204 before he hits the brakes. Nice and early turn and uses as much curb as he possibly can without cutting the corner. He's using his iron thumbs to good use as he turns into the final corner. Gets some nice eggs as well. Runs out of battery, crosses the line, and that's P13. He's up 4.5 tenths. So that is Lee Cole P14, and that is your qualifying. Boycott showing his support for Lee by putting hashtag Team Iron Thumb in the chat. That's a new hashtag. I think a couple of people might want to rob that from now. But for qualifying, we have Wesker in the Alfa Romeo on pole position. A fantastic job from him. We've got Megatron Lechat P2 in the Renault, T. Smith P3 in the McLaren. We've got Pagani 4th in the BWT Racing Point with Panda 5th in the Haas. Aaron Taylor and City Posh Blue take the 3rd row. They are 6th and 7th. We have Casey Bernard. Sorry, the 3rd and the 4th row. We have Casey Bernard in 8th, Brutus in 9th, Matt 10th, Max 11th with Zombie in 12th, Captain Chubbs in 13th with Lee 14th, and Cowboy in 15th. And a few others that I just missed. So we'll see them when they get onto the grid. Nice and sunny China as lads sort out the final setups. I think now that we've got a little wait before the session starts on the formation lap, if you've got any questions you fancy asking. Nice little, actually, I think race predictions might be the best thing to go through right now. If you've got any race predictions, throw them in the chat. See what you think we're going to have tonight for our top 3. See who is the most capable. We should be going on the grid now. Everything's looking fairly tidy. So it's not a front row we would normally expect. You've got an Alfa Romeo and a Renault P1 and 2. But everyone's getting the practice starts in on the formation lap. Warm up the tyres, warm up the brakes. We'll have Lee Cole in P14 slowing up 3 cars from the second to last corner, as he usually likes to do. He likes to back up the field at the end of the formation lap, make everyone's tyres at the front go cooler, give himself a little advantage. But we've got Wesker P1 with Ross P2. We have T. Smith also P3, but he's behind Pagani on his formation lap, so T. Smith things there for you. That's just Tom being Tom. We have Panda in P5 with Darren in P6. A good season for him so far. He's up near the top of the tables. I believe he's at the top. I'm not quite sure. So a good season so far from Aaron. He's been putting in some brilliant performances. We have City Posh Blue, who's also been doing the same. His teammate Aaron topped him in qualifying this time, but he'll be looking to try and get past him on track. We have KC in P8, a decent qualifying for the Ferrari. He is in P8. Brutus in P9 with that AlphaTauri. We have Matt a fairway off his teammate, 7 positions behind T. Smith. Matt is in 10th. We have Max in P11 setting the standard for the Red Bull drivers. Now a 1 stop would bring us in on a lap 13 to 17. Now a 2 stop would bring us in on lap 10, and then on lap 17, I believe. So that would be a 2 stop for soft, medium, medium. The 1 stop would be softs to hards. So you have Zombie up in P12, Captain Chubbs in 13, and Lee Cole doing the best impression of Kimi Räikkönen as possible, just driving the car in a straight line as everyone's weaving to get temperature. Then we have TTG Cowboy, he is in 15th with Siren, he is in 16th with Scuba in 17th. Now the 2 stop will be a soft to lap 5 and then to lap 17. Well, soft to lap 5, then medium from lap 5 to 17, then I'll go for another set of mediums to the end. But Guy reckons Wesker, Aaron and Pagani, I reckon that's a decent shout. Aaron's been putting in some fairly good performances, and Pagani certainly does have the car to do it. Obviously we have T. Smith and Ross in 3rd and 2nd, and they are 2 renowned bottle jumps. So we'll see. 5 red lights are out and we are a go. Good start from Wesker, also equally good start from Megatron Lashat. Good start from Aaron in P5, he's challenging Pagani into turn 1, not quite. City Posh Blues dropped down a good couple of positions. He's got a Haas China around the outside, 3 wide at the turn 2, they managed to sort themselves out. Aaron holding the zone out in P6. He's got Will China on him on the inside for turn 3. But they're both going to have slipstream on each other. It looks like Aaron's going to just about get his way down the inside to defend his front wing. Damage from that Ferrari's hit the back of the Williams. The front wing has anyway. But Aaron and Panda still going side by side. Aaron concedes the position, not much he could do. He's still in the same position as when he started, but a good start from Panda has kept him in P5. Now we have Pagani, he's still in P4, we've got T. Smith in P3. A 1.4 second gap has been 1.5 now by Wesker coming into the second sector. He's pulling out fairly well on Ross. Pagani all over the back of T. Smith. He'll be trying to find his way through as soon as possible. Now it's a difficult first lap for KC. He's got damage on the right hand side of his front wing. So all the left hand corners are going to be fairly difficult for him. But we'll see. We'll go back on board with Pagani. He's close to T. Smith, but without DRS there's not much he can do. Closes a bit under brakes, but not enough to warrant sticking his nose down the inside. So KC making his way past Zombie. I think that might be Zombie letting them through, but that's Lee Cole forcing it down the inside. And that's Lee managed to get up into P12. That's Zombie down a couple of positions. Then we've got the grid deciding it wants to change itself up on us. It's glitched out a bit, I think. We've got a good little battle going on through turns 1 and 2. We've got Lee Cole trying it up the inside of Zombie. We're trying it around the outside of 2. Now, the graphics are starting to glitch out a bit. I don't quite know what's going on. So we're going to have to eyeball it. Coming up with the strategies again, fairly similar as what it said earlier. Now there's also a other strategy you could use, a soft to medium, which is an interesting one, which I never really thought of. But pace between Wesker and Ross was stabilised through the second lap. We've got Pagani still behind Tom with 7/10, using P4. We won't have much of a chance unless Ross makes a massive mistake coming out here to have a chance of the hairpin, so Pagani's had to wait another lap or 2 to be able to have an opportunity. Now there's a yellow flag, that is the McLaren of Matt, unfortunately. He's got a bit of wing damage, so that would be resulting from a bit of contact. That's turned his McLaren around, unfortunately. Pagani getting close to the back of T. Smith now. He's trying to pile on as much pressure as he can. So Pagani gains 2/10 down the straight. As to see the AlphaTauri kicking up a bit of grass through 10, 14 or 15. So we've only got we've got 4 drivers on the medium and then another 3 on the hard, so there's some different strategies going on from a few guys tonight. We've got a couple of guys pitting in, being KC and Matt. So Captain Chubbs will be looking to pit in, what I'd say, possibly around lap 10. To go on to another set of mediums or potentially a set of hards, which I think would be the best shout for Captain Chubbs. Run 2. I wouldn't say long stints, they're relatively fine for the tyres he's got. You can run, I don't know, about 17 laps on the hards fairly easily. You can run 10 on the mediums fairly safely as well, so a decent strategy is looking like it will be for Captain Chubbs tonight. We've got Pagani though on the more aggressive strategy. He's running that soft compound tyre. He's turned on the overtake. So has T. Smith. They both turned it off. So they're playing games with their overtake. Whereas if Pagani's open that DRS, he's too far behind to be wasting battery trying to close up the gap on this straight. And sit in for now in the pack. And then just slowly work his way up to Tom. Obviously, Pagani pits in. That's a very early pit stop. Was Pagani got damage? We'll have to stay on board with them because I'm not sure why Pagani's pitting in. It's only lap 4. I don't believe the tyres are wearing off that quick. So we shall see if Pagani's got front wing damage. He doesn't. So Pagani's just going for a different strategy, right? So he's on a set of mediums. That's going to drop him down into P14. So he's going to be a fair weight. Oh, Aaron's in the box as well. Okay. So Pagani 13th and Aaron 14th. They've both boxed in fairly early. That's actually quite surprising to me. I didn't expect it. A couple of the drivers doing so as well. But that was down to damage. So we've got Wesker. He's pulled another second. He's pulled another 2 seconds. He's flying so far. So he's looking good. He's fairly dominant for the early stage of the race. He's definitely liking this soft compounded tyre. Let's get a slight sore throat. But T. Smith still all over the back of Ross, so he can focus his attention straight to the car in front. Doesn't have to think of what's behind him because there's no one behind him for a further 6 seconds. So it's all looking fairly comfortable for T. Smith right now. Literally at this literal point in race, he doesn't seem to be under any pressure. But of course, Pagani having that fresh set of tyres, he won't be able to try his luck at maybe getting an undercut on T. Smith as he pits in with Ross. But the race leader deciding to stay out, so he's definitely going longer on his set of softs. He's going for a longer strategy, which could potentially be risky, but now he is showing that he's got the pace to do it. He's definitely shown he's got the pace to win because he gained 4 seconds in the opening 4 laps, So it's definitely some encouraging pace for himself, but he is opening himself up to a potential undercut if he doesn't pit in this lap. Now I'm going to say I don't think you can undercut 4 seconds around China. It's a bit much, but if he stays out for, I don't know, 2, maybe an extra 3 laps, he is putting himself at risk. So this needs to be a calculated risk, which I believe it is, because he's definitely pushing what he can out of the tyre. As you can see, he is putting in some good lap times, but you can just see the deg from that soft. He's 8/10 down on his best time, and that best time would have been from lap 2. So it's all downhill from here in terms of grips. So we will definitely have to box in this lap. Then we have Captain Chubbs, he's out in P2, 7.2 seconds behind. He's gained half a second through the past half a minute. So obviously it's showing that medium tyre is the better compound so far. But of course with that Ferrari engine in the hands of Wesker, he's gained another 3/10 down the straight. So we shall see. Tyres are fluctuating a little bit, but in cornering it looks like the set of mediums is a lot more efficient than the set of softs. As you can see, we have Wesker pitting in. Zombie will be crossing the line to take P3 provisionally. Of course, it's not a guaranteed one. Obviously, strategy is going to be playing a part. He's in 5 laps on his set of mediums. He will have to pit in again, and of course behind will be on a nice fresh set of softer tyres to come back at him. So the grid's all mixed in so far. We've got Lee Cole up into P5. Really good from him so far. Clearly showing why he's got the buffest thumbs on the grid. So Lee's got about 60% energy. He's got slightly more energy than Scuba. So it looks like in this little train of 3, it's Zombie that has the least battery. Zombie can't go gung-ho with his overtake button. He's going to be a little smarter with it. So Lee is the one running the higher amount of batteries so far. So let's see, Pagani closing up to the back of Ross. I'd say he's just 7/10 from behind him. So we've got the intervals, yeah, 7/10 between Pagani and Ross. Now if we look at the overall interval, Pagani is 19 seconds back from Chubbs, who is he's not literally leading the race. Obviously, in terms of strategy will change that, it looks. But so far, Captain Chubbs is the leader, and Pagani is 19 seconds back, so we'll see how that strategy helps. Obviously, he's only been on this set of mediums for 1 lap, so when that other pink car pits in, we'll just see how much difference there is in pace between the two. Of course, they are in the exact same machinery. Pagani closing up to Ross. The Pagani, crucially, he got the undercut on T-Smith. Now T-Smith is down into P10. So we're trying to find a way back through Pagani. Now we could also use this time just to save that bit of fuel in the corners. And just use Pagani more as a sense of, right, let's save what the resources I've got, let's save the fuel, let's save the battery. When it comes to a position I can overtake, use that to attack, and then use that to attack Ross. As Pagani, feeling the pressure, goes deep into turn 4. So Pagani showing signs of weakness. T-Smith will be looking to jump on that as soon as he can. T-Smith all over the back of him. A 10th separating them between these high-speed left and right-handers. Pagani, 3-second penalty in a very unusual spot on the track. So it's going to put Pagani under extra pressure. He's got T-Smith all over him. Now T-Smith doesn't have any penalties, I do not believe. So if, say the race was to finish, obviously with the gaps between these guys as it is, Pagani would be the one coming off worse. He'd probably be behind Brutus. So Pagani needs to stick his foot down a little bit. But is that Aaron? Or, City Posh. He's binned it. City Posh has turned the car around for turn 13. And he's doing his best impression of Valtteri Bottas. He's mowing the grass a little bit. That Williams is now officially a lawnmower. Unfortunately, tough night for City Posh. Then we've got Aaron. He is P13 in that Williams so far. So we shall see what he can do. He's 6 tenths behind Panda in P13, but T-Smith still all over the back of Pagani as Max gets himself a penalty. I don't know what's going on with my voice, it feels all croaky for a minute, my throat's gone, don't know why. We should be fine. It's the scouse coming back out to me, so I never have phlegm. Okay, leak hole all over the back of Kyron. You've got Katami's in the chat, one of the living legends of FTRL. He has consumed the most amount of front wings we have ever seen, but we love him nonetheless, as Lee gets it a little wayward. But we got Scuba all over the back of Zombie, drastically moving over to the right hand side of the circuit, just trying to break that slipstream, but crucially, he's left that space for Scuba to go down the inside, and Scuba's maximised on that. Now we've got Zombies trying the switchback, but it's not going to work. Scuba's got that exit, and he's up into third so far. That is Zombie down a position, a little wide through 10, but not too wide. So that is Scuba up into P3, and Zombie down into 4th. Then we've got the Alfa Romeo up in 2nd. He's only 2.9 seconds off Scuba, off Captain Chubbs. So we're looking to try and close down that gap. Same compound, same amount of laps, but different cars. So we'll see. We'll see how TTG does, trying to close up on the back of the lead car. But a battle that I really want to keep my eye on, it's Ross, Pagani and Tom. Because these are all fighting for what provisionally seems to be P2. Now of course you've got Pagani stuck in the middle of the two. Now Ross and T-Smith have both been teammates on Gran Turismo, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're both in a party with each other, sweating the little hearts out, as they usually like to do. Obviously T-Smith, your 3-time world champion in GT Sport GT1, which is on a Friday night at 8 o'clock, shameless plug. But we'll see if T-Smith can channel the ways of the sweat through to F1 and get his way up past Pagani and Ross. I doubt it. We've got Panda not too far away from this battle, 2.6 seconds off the back of Tom. So we'll be trying to find a way to get a little closer to them. So we shall keep an eye on this man, on that bamboo eating Panda. Ross trying to find a way to close up to the back of Lee. Lee is currently in P7. He's actually fairly close to Wesker. He's only half a second behind him. We have a different line from Lee coming out of turn 2. Is it turn 2 really, or is it turn 3? I don't know. It's a weird one. The Lee definitely close to the back of Wesker. He gets himself a 3-second penalty, so that's going to make Lee's endeavours ever so more difficult. Obviously Wesker is on the harder compounded tyre, so I don't know if we're looking to run to the end. Now it is a viable strategy. He'll be trying to run 25 laps on a set of hards. Now it's doable, but it's very difficult. Obviously with China, it's a circuit where you put on a high amount of load through the tyres, especially the front tyres. You're demanding a lot of aerodynamics from the car. So obviously it's going to request a lot from the front. Now it's not as many acceleration zones, there is a few. Now we could look at turns 4 and turn the hairpin. They're 2 massive acceleration zones. They're going to put a lot of heat and a lot of stress through the rear tyres, but this isn't necessarily a track where you heat up your rears, it's where you heat up your fronts, predominantly your front right. So they need to find a way to manage that. Now with Wesker running that hard compounded tyre, it never really overheats the hard compounded tyre. Now you're definitely going to overheat the super soft if you push it too hard for too long. Now you will overheat the medium tyre after a good few laps of pushing with it. You wouldn't badly overheat it, but you would overheat it nonetheless. That will cause you to lose grip through the corner run. But of course this hard compounded tyre, you can run it at a long distance at obviously quite a high quite high pace. You could run that tyre at 100% for at least 10 laps, and honestly, I don't think you'd overheat the front. So with the tyre that Wesker's chose, he's put himself in a fairly decent spot. So it's interesting from Wesker. Was ever so more interesting from the likes of Ross, Pagani and Tom, because realistically they're the only three that could challenge them once everyone makes their all final pit stops. So what we'll do is we'll get the intervals up to the leader and we'll go to Wesker. So Wesker's 12.1 seconds off the lead, and now Ross, the figurehead of this three-car train between himself, Pagani and Tom, he's 17.7 seconds behind. So that's roughly 6 seconds. So we can see that with the difference in tyre, Wesker's practically equal or just a little bit quicker. So it looks like a fairly encouraging race for Wesker so far. I think once everyone makes the final pit stops, Wesker could be in with a fantastic shout of taking the race win. We'll move back to intervals between drivers. If you've got any questions, stick it in the chat with #AskComms. Now we've got Aaron and Brutus making their way past TTG, but he's pitted in. He's on a set of hard compound tyres. He'll be running the remaining 16 laps on the hard compound tyre. Now Aaron currently P11. He's got Brutus all over the back of him. We're trying to find a way to pull away from him. Now Panda, he's dropped 3/10 back from this train, which is ended by T Smith. So it's looking like Panda doesn't quite have the pace of the guys up in front of him. Obviously the car is going to be a predominant factor in that. Obviously we are a performance championship, so they're the cars you'd expect to see on your career modes, isn't they? The cars you'd expect to see in real life. Well, in performance wise anyway. But Ross, 1.7 seconds behind Lee so far, is closing in. There's 1.6 so far, it'll be 1.5 in a moment, as they both hit the brakes for turn 14. Wesker coming up to some traffic now. Critical spot of the race for him. He needs to try and get through them quickly. Now of course we do know he is quicker, as he was leading the race. He qualified it on pole. He's down the inside of Kyron, and he didn't even have DRS. So it's showing the amount of pace that Wesker already has in that Ferrari engine, with no doubt coming in to be a big factor in that. So Wesker will be looking to try and find a way past Zombie. Zombie's only 3/10 ahead of him. He's done twice the amount of laps as Zombie's done on this tyre. He's done half the amount of laps that Zombie's done on this tyre, sorry. I got tyres mixed up. So Wesker will be trying to find a way to get through as quick as possible without losing quite as much time. Now of course, DTA is quite powerful on this game, so obviously you're going to lose a fair bit of performance once you get yourself stuck behind another car, and it'll be a lot more difficult to close up, and I think that's definitely showing itself in this battle between Ross, T Smith and Pagani's made a mistake because Ross is in front of him, T Smith's in front of him. So we've had a position change there, but we'll go on board at Wesker. This is an important stage of the race for him. So he's just trying to claw his way through the field. He's Zombie deploying the old tactic, jumping to the outside to defend. Not the best of camera angles. This is Zombie protecting that inside line, just about makes it work. So we've got Scuba pitting in of 12 lap old set of hards now. For Zombie, it'd be in his best interest in overall race time to just try and don't put up as much of a fight against Wesker, but use Wesker to try and pull yourself further ahead of Kyron as Wesker tries it right down the inside. Zombie doesn't see it coming. A little bit of contact. Oh. Zombie understeering out of two. He clips the front of Wesker's front tyres with his rear, almost turned the car around, but all's good for them too. They're still facing north, which they'll be happy about. That's going to be another couple sectors that Wesker's going to have to stick behind Zombie. Now Zombie will be a fair bit closer, a little bit closer, coming out onto the back straight. And also, Zombie won't have the advantage of having sort of that protection of having the other car in front of him that he had, which I believe was Scuba. Of Captain Chubb, sorry. So we shall see. Wesker taking a tighter line through 13. He's already right on the back of Zombie, so he should be past even before the DRS line. So it's definitely very close between the two. So Zombie's jumping back into that slipstream, tucking himself back in nicely. As Wesker back up into the lead. Now if we go to the leader, Ross is 4.5 seconds behind, 4.3 now. So that time that was right. Kyron's retired. Has he crashed on the pit lane? I think Kyron's crashed on the pit lane. So we shall see. Oh, he's pulled a Hamilton. Kyron's pulled a Hamilton, unfortunately. As we see with Aaron going past these. Looks like he's just locked the front, and unfortunately he's put it in the tyre barrier. But Brutus, he's up the back of that Alfa Romeo, and they're called Alfa Tauri. Should be looking to try and find a way through soon. So Ross, 4.3 seconds off Wesker. The gap has close to what it was. It was 6 seconds earlier. It's now 4.2. So that time that Wesker spent in traffic has definitely cost him a bit. But he's still got track position. He's got a fairly comfortable lead. Obviously, he's got a 9/10 gap to Zombie, who's currently in P2. But it's just dropping out of a second. But as they cross the detection line, I think Zombie is just about in within a second. So we shall see if he gets DRS when they cross the activation line. But no, he's just outside of it, unfortunately. So that is fairly cemented. It looks like Wesker will be getting away with this one fairly easily. He is in P1 with just over a second gap. Now, this is between a leader. Now, the pack of Ross, they're still catching, but they will have to do another stop. They will have to do another stop. There's no way they can run that means another 18 laps. Sorry, 18 laps, 12 laps. So we shall see. It's going to be a difficult one for them. Obviously, to get the lead, I think it's out of question for them. Unfortunately, they will be boxing a second time. Now Pagani, speaking of boxing the second time, he's boxed the second time. He's on another set of mediums. We'll be running these the next 12 laps and to the end of the race. Now you will have the undercut on Ross and Tom. Obviously, close between himself and Lee. So we shall see. Lee's trying to attack around the outside, but Pagani not quite allowing that to happen. He's in the inside and he is through. The City Posh Blue deploying the Spinala a second time, and he's nearly turned the car around on the exit 14. So it's a tough night for City, unfortunately. But this gap with Wesker is now starting to extend it a little bit. He's gained 6/10 in the previous lap and a half. Now Pagani will be one to keep your eye out on, as he will be trying the undercut on both T. Smith and Ross. Now I think they will be pitting in on this lap. It's anything that makes sense. Pagani has triggered the undercut. He's triggered the second phase of pit stops, at least for this little pack that he was in. Oh, hiccup, sorry. Yeah, I expect they'll be pitting in this lap, as they do. So both into the pit lane. Max gets himself a 3-second penalty. Now I suspect these are both, well, I suspect, it's practically a fact, these will be going on to a set of medium compound tyres for their third and final stint. Oh, T. Smith and Ross incredibly close into the pits. T. Smith has to hit the brakes to avoid entering Ross, and that's something you never want to do. T. Smith decides he's going to do a little bit of lawn mowing on the exit of the pit lane. He's going to get a little bit of grass on those left hand side tyres, no, right hand side tyres, sorry. but they're all over the back of Lee, and Pagani has got a decent undercut. Now Pagani is 24 seconds off the lead, and Ross is 20. There's a second gap between Pagani and Ross, so we're just showing that Pagani has got a fair bit of pace. Of course, the degradation in the medium tyres that the other lads had when he was on a nice fresh set obviously had a part to play in it, but Pagani still has to drive the thing, and he didn't do what City done, he drove it in a straight line. For once. So let's see, Pagani's next target will be Zombie, as Pagani sets the fastest second sector. So Pagani lighting up the timesheets. Obviously he's coming off the back of a race win last week in Singapore. He took a fantastic race win to claim his second win in 6 seasons. So a good job from Pagani. Pagani setting the fastest lap time of 34.5. Now we'll see the fastest lap by a tenth to Scuba. I would say actually, no, Scuba hasn't got the fastest time, sorry. Oh, no, yeah, he does. Sorry, I can't read. I'm Scouse, what do you expect? So the interval between himself and Zombie is about 5 tenths, borderline 6 tenths. So Pagani is definitely closing up to the back of that Renault in front of him. So I've got an itchy ear and trying to scratch while talking. It's making life a little harder. Only the best from me, as you can see. We shall see the gap between himself and Ross. Wait a minute, is there? There's a big gap between Pagani and Ross. There's a 4-second gap between Pagani and Ross. Okay, Pagani's showing some good pace it seems. So very encouraging for Pagani, he's got way ahead of that train. T. Smith, he's quite far back. What's happened to Tom? I am very intrigued on what's happened to Tom. What's that? Okay. I don't know if Tom's got it massively sideways or turned the car around. But that's very unfortunate for Tom. Will Liko being overtaken by Panda? Someone's clearly fed the Haas driver's bamboo. There'll be some excited Panda noises from Panda. For Zombie all over the back of Pagani so far. It's only 5 tenths separating the two. As Pagani has freshly got past Zombie. They are on the same compound tyre. And they're on the seat. They've been on that tyre for the same amount of time as well. So we'll see what he can do. We'll see what he can do. On lap 19 of 28. Lap 19 of 28. Got 9 laps to go. You know, City Posh picking up a 3-second penalty. A miserable race for the Williams driver tonight, as he is showing at dissatisfaction with a little weave to himself on the straight. You got a feel for him, he's a good driver, he's had good results so far in the opening 2 rounds of this season, but it's not going his way tonight. 33.1 seconds off the back of Max. But on another note, Wesker putting in a fantabulous performance so far. I don't know where that comes from. He's 4.7 seconds ahead of Captain Chubbs, and I suspect highly that he will be running a 21 lap stint on this set of hard tyres. He'll be going to the end. It's the only thing I can see him doing. Maybe throwing away a race win if he comes into the pits. So commands and drive from Wesker so far. Obviously he's got 8 laps to go. But Pagani he's pulling away from Zombie now. He's 1.2 seconds away. He's broke DRS and Aaron's got himself a 3-second penalty. He's currently down in P10. The struggling race tonight for him. Unfortunately, he's on the edge of points. So things are getting difficult for him. Obviously, he had a fantastic performance last week at Baku. I believe he was in the top 2 in the Alfa Romeo. But he's in the Williams tonight, and the Williams, it's a handful. So he's got his work cut out for him. And it makes me happy seeing Aaron suffer in a Williams. It truly does. It's one of the finer things in life. But he is closing up all over the back of Lee. He's not too far off him. Lee's running a good race so far. Qualified, I believe, 13th. He is in P9 so far. He's finished. Let's have a look actually. We've got a graphic that tells us that, if I can find it. He's up 5 positions from the start. So we did start P14. He's up into P9 on a set of hard compound tyres. So Lee, running a good race so far. Putting his thumbs to work. Hashtag Team Iron Thumbs we had from Goycarp earlier on in the chat, which is a new one. Which I won't complain at all. So far, Pagani will be looking to chase down Scuba. Now it's going to be a difficult one for him. I don't think he can get a podium. Obviously we are in the last 7 to 8 laps of the race and Pagani's in P5. 8.9 seconds of Scuba. So the gap isn't small. Pagani, unfortunately, doesn't look like he's in with the chance of a podium. Truly believe the one stop was the strategy to go tonight. Unfortunately, the 2 stop didn't work. Well, it doesn't seem to be working anyway. You never know. So, I am going to beg and plead that everyone here like the stream, because it does help us out, get seen by more people. Obviously it's more interaction and it helps make the graceful place of FTRL. It spreads out more, which of course we want. Now I would like to say that on GT Sport, I thought I lost engine sound for a minute, I got very worried. So I would like to point out one thing. We've got a new championship which we're trying to get up and running on GT Sport. That will be on a Sunday night. That will be Series 700, put together by yours truly, Junkie Sport. He's one of your Div 2 drivers. And now, in principle, what the theory of the series is, you tune up your car to be 700 brake horsepower, which obviously, who doesn't like a 700 horsepower car? It's not awfully far off these cars. Now these will be GT3 cars that we will have, and we'll be running endurance races, so an hour 30 races. They will be on Gran Turismo, of course, as I said, the series is on Gran Turismo. They'll be running around real life F1 circuits, but in GT3 cars, with an hour and a half races. There'll be 7 rounds, and the last round will be Le Mans. That will be a 3-hour race for the finale. And now the thing is, obviously you're going to think, okay, an hour and a half race gaps are going to be built up quite a bit. Not quite. What we've got is we've got the boost on strong, and that pretty much means that the further back you are, the more speed that your car will get, and that just encourages closer racing. And obviously once you get the pack all close together, you're not getting an advantage in speed. It's based on the distance you are from the car in front, which is what your boost is. So the closer you get to the pack, the more the pack condenses, the more equal it is, the more they spread out. Just start with the front cars will be, and the quicker the back cars will be. That just encourages everyone to be closer. It's all closer race. Now it's brilliant for viewership. Now we still have 6 seats open. Now we would love to get some more drivers for that, which if you do have interest, I believe it will be on the FTRL website, I believe. I'm not entirely sure. But if you are interested, obviously most of you lads will be in a Discord, so just give Junkie a message and he'll be more than happy to give you a seat for it. We've got 6 seats going. We've already got someone who's kindly offered to do commentary for us if we go ahead with it. So 6 more drivers if you're interested. That would be brilliant to see you getting in on it. Obviously it's a league where we just enjoy racing, and close field, or having some fantastic battles for an hour and a half. You know, it's a win-win for everyone. So if you are interested, please do give Junkie a message. That'd be brilliant. But Captain Shub's closed in on Westgate, a 2-second gap between the two. Captain Chubb's only 7 laps off the tyres. We'll see 7 laps off there. 7 laps fresher. They're on the same compound tyre. So Captain Chubb's showing some good pace. Wesker's got 5 laps to go, so he's definitely going to have to push a bit. He's coming to the back of City Post to be lapped, unfortunately. So we shall see. Hopefully, Wesker will be hoping to get more time out of the car. Yeah, out of the car in front. Hopefully he can get a bit of slipstream from City Post Blue. Just to help defend, in a way, against Captain Chubb's. Now we got on board with Pagani, still 8.4 seconds behind Scuba, so not much has changed between the two. Ross has dropped a bit, so 6 seconds between Pagani and Ross T. Smith, quite far back. Brutus making his way past Lee Hall. But Lee Hall, he's sticking it down the inside, he's trying to defend his position. Obviously this is the final points paying position. Lee Hall holding P10 so far. Little wide from Brutus, but he will have DRS. He will have ERS. His battery should be flat before he hits the brakes. Just 2% going through into turn 1. Lee's got 22%. That'll allow him to attack again on the on the back straight. That 1 mile long straight. That opens up opportunities for Lee to make a counter attack. But of course, Brutus got actually quite a better exit. He's 5/10 ahead away. T. Smith diving it down, he's inside the Brutus. Sorry, he's using it inside to defend against Brutus. Look, I'm getting confused. The graphics are showing it wrong, I think. I'm confused. Hey, T. Smith tried to dive bomb Brutus, but it didn't work. There we go. I had a brain fart. Brutus getting himself a 3-second penalty. That'll help Lee out. I'm not sure if that's Brutus's first penalty. Scuba got past TTG into the hairpin. Good job from the Haas driver. That hits him up into podium positions. He's up into P3. Captain Chubbs has closed up to the back of Wesker. 4 laps to go, including that 25. So Wesker's definitely got his work cut out for him if he wants this race win. It's not going to be an easy one. Captain Chubbs. Now let's think of the strategies between the two. Captain Chubbs, Wesker pitting on lap 5. He decided he was going to put on a set of hard tyres. Well, they're both on hard tyres. But the thing is, Wesker pitting 7 laps earlier, and he was on soft tyres. Now the thing is, Chubbs pitting 7 laps later, and he was on medium tyres. Now, obviously, medium tyres, they have more pace for longer. So, of course, it's gonna give him more pace for the end of the first stint, and it's gonna allow him to be on a fresher set of hard tyres, and that's exactly what we've got here. Now, this strategy from going to the mediums to the hards actually seems like it's working out better than the soft to the hards. Now, Wesker's under serious pressure now. This is for the race win. We've got 3 and a bit laps to go, and it's 7/10 separated 2. And Chubbs, well, he's got quite a bit of pace because he closed about a second and a lap to get in slipstream. To get into slipstream range, but he's going to have dirty air now. That's going to make life a lot harder to catch up. So this is going to definitely show what these guys have in reserves in terms of pace. Of course, fuel as well. That's a critical part as well. You put it up into wrist mix, you can make your engine scream for a lot longer, and obviously will give you more pace, but it's not that much help if you're stuck in this dirty air. So we Captain Chubbs looking to apply the pressure onto Wesker for this race win. See Chubbs closing up through those high speed corners we've got in sector 2. Very close to the back of Wesker. So he's actually looking in a fairly good spot to make an attack down on the start finish straight. So things are going to be very difficult for Wesker. We'll see what he can do. Wesker running a wider line. Chubbs going a bit tighter. He's still going to be in that slipstream nonetheless. He's got DRS, he's in overtake, Wesker's in overtake, they're both in overtake. Chubbs is going around the outside. He actually gone a fair bit deep. That's allowed Wesker to come back at him. Who will still have an opportunity to go down the inside, but he doesn't. Wesker's in front before the final corner. It's a great race in between the two. Now ideally for Chubbs, he would have wanted to get that move through the hairpin, but unfortunately he couldn't quite get that done. I don't know why I'm yawning. I'm not tired at all. It's just my mouth's going, yawn, yawn comes, yawn. But no, it's getting a bit annoying. With T. Smith gaining himself a 3-second penalty, that's not helping him out. He's currently down in P8. A good shot for Pagani. Yeah, he dropped a position off to start. He is in P5, nonetheless a good race from him. But Captain Chubb's all over the back of Wesker so far. Now he's going to have to learn from last lap. He doesn't want to hit the brakes too late, as this is what he'd done on the previous lap. That would be a corner cutting warning from him. Oh, a tenth and a half behind Wesker before they come through the most important corner of the track. So we shall see how they do. A good exit from the both of them. Captain Chubbs, not the best of camera angles, side by side with Wesker down the straight. He's in front of him before they even hit the brakes. Now, of course, yeah, he's in front, he's got the fresh tyres, he'll be quicker in the corners. Wesker will also have the opportunity to use DRS to try and not lose as much time, so they're both going to be going hell for leather on this lap. If Wesker wants to win, he's going to have to go even more hell for leather. He's going to have to push absolutely flat out. So I think he might be trying to fight a losing battle, unfortunately. 7 lap difference in tyres. It's not a small difference, it's worth at least 3-4 tenths a lap. And you can see Captain Chubbs gaining 2 tenths under acceleration. It looks like we've got Captain Chubbs, a new race leader. He is going to be on course to take his first race win of the season in that Racing Point, soon to be Aston Martin in 2021. Obviously they have signed Sebastian Vettel, which as a Vettel fan I am bloody made up about. Aaron wanted to punch the wall, and part of me thought it's about rubbing it in, but no. No. Good battle between the two. Captain Chubbs is up into first place. Unfortunately, Wesker's down in second. A great race from the both of them. Unfortunately, one driver couldn't win the race tonight, and it's looking like it'll be Chubbs as long as he keeps the car facing north. Fortunately, Lee Cole's dropped out of the top 10 positions. He's in P11 on a 13 lap all set of hards. Brutus is on a 10 lap all set of mediums. Captain Chubbs crosses the line and he takes his first race win of the season, with Wesker crossing to take P2. Scuba third with TTG in P4. Pagani will be crossing the line in a moment and he'll be taking fifth, 1 position down from where he started, but nonetheless a good race. He managed to undercut both Ross and Tom. Ross 6th, Panda 7th, T. Smith will be 8th. Good race from Aaron. Obviously he's driving a terrible car, he's in P9. The Brutus is in P10. Tough race for Lee. Actually, I wouldn't say tough. A fairly decent race for Lee. He only 3 positions off the start. He's P11. Zombie 12th. KC Bernard in 13th and Max 14th. But unfortunately tonight for City Posh, he drove a fantastic race last week. He's got a puncture. He got a puncture as he crossed the line. So City got lucky. Yeah, it's unfortunate for him tonight. It's not the race he would have wanted. A drop in form for him, unfortunately, but I have no doubt he'll come back again in the next race. But on a brighter note, fantastic race win for Captain Chubbs. First race win of the season. Managed to deny Wesker of the win, which Wesker looked like he's going to take a fairly dominant win. But Captain Chubbs, we ain't having any of it. As we max those donuts. And that is round 3 of the Performance Championship in Season 5. And that is Captain Chubbs taking the top step. He's taken a selfie as well for his Instagram followers. Hashtag blessed. All spraying the champagne. Obviously they'd be happy to be on the podium, but unfortunately for Wesker, he would have been wanting the bigger bottle of champagne. Fortunately, not quite the night for him, but obviously fantastic drive nonetheless. You got P2. So a fantastic race tonight, some brilliant racing between the lads at the front, in the midfield and at the back as well. Captain Chubbs is your race winner for the 3rd round of this season. So a fantastic job to him to do that with the racing points. We have Wesker in P2 in the Alfa Romeo. We have Scuba in P3 with Callboy in 4th. We have Pagani in 5th with Ross in 6th. The Pride of Scotland. We have Panda in P7 with T Smith in 8th. Aaron in 9th with Brutus 10th, Lee 11th, Zombie in P12 with KC Bernard 13th, Max 14th, City Posh Blue with an unfortunate P15. With 2 retirements of Kyron in the AlphaTauri and Matt in the McLaren. So that has been round 3 of the Performance Championship tonight. Fantastic racing from the lads out on track. And a great battle for the lead, which lasted right to the final lap. Now, it's time to remote everything else. Tomorrow we have Div 2. They will be taking the race to Hungary. They will be on round 9, I believe. We will have Div 1 on Wednesday. They will be tackling Hungary as well. But actually, let's get these in for an interview if we can. I don't think we can. I think they left. So, we have F1 on Tuesday and Wednesday. They will both be around Hungary. You'll have Aaron on comments with his Elgato and Cuban Pete will be making some extra appearances. So, we're moving on to GT Sport. Is there anything on Wednesday? I'm not entirely sure. I'm not fully sure if we have anything going on Wednesday. But on Thursday, we will have GT2 lads. They'll be taking the race to GT Sport. I don't actually have a calendar graphic for that, but that will be the Porsche Cup, which will be consisting of 3 races over the night. They'll both be running the same amount of laps. So that should make racing very interesting, of course, with just one race, you've only got one chance. But with 3 races, you've got 3 chances to get your moves done. So that'll be fantastic for the lads. That'll be fantastic for the lads. That should be great for them. But we'll see. For round 2, the lads will have Sardegna Layout B for all races, and for any of those lads watching, that will be at 13:10 sunny. That will be your times for it. And it will be the same for GT1 as well, of course, GT1, will be running the British touring car layout. That'll be 3 races as well, all in GT4 cars with touring car layouts. So for those of you who've been watching from the start to the finish, thank you for watching, and we shall see you in the next one.